It's going to, okay, I think it started recording. Yeah, fine. Pause recording, stop recording. Yeah, it's coming now. Okay, so we'll start now. Like, what is HTML means? Earlier I have told that HTML is used to define pages in web applications. Okay, based on some tags. The basic skeleton of HTML is I
Hello.
earlier I given like HTML and doc type initially. First line of the your HTML code should be doc type. After that we have HTML tag, then we have head tag, then a title tag, then we have body tag. After that we have to close this nested whatever it is, right? Like body tag, whatever you open you have to close body tag, and corresponding HTML tag you have to close. And normally script tag is used for writing your JavaScript, and style tag is used for writing CSS.
Yes.
Okay, so you can use like a script tag, and we can use an attribute called src. By using that you can load external JavaScript files. And also like that style tag also, if you want to write external CSS, we have tag called link. Okay, link, and there is a href tag attribute. So href equal to, you have to give the path of your CSS file. Okay, always better to keep external JavaScript, external CSS. Why? Because it is easy to handle your code, minimized code. Or else if you're clumsy combining all code in HTML page, it is very difficult to maintain your code and understanding your code. So that's why always better to keep external JavaScript and external CSS. Try to avoid write inline CSS. Okay, so that is
Okay.
best practices when you're doing. Now,
Okay.
we are talking about the history of HTML, like versions I'm talking. So at present, you don't care about HTML versions. Why? Because now HTML5 is not dependent on any doc type. Okay.
Yeah.
Earlier there is a doc type. It has to be linked with some schema, XML schema and all. Okay. So now it
Yeah.
is not required. So how to write and execute HTML program, if you want to see? Actually, this is for very beginners. How to write means you can use simple notepad. There you can write simple HTML program and save it as a .html extension, and that file you can save anywhere and you can open with browser. Then it will be executed. So it is not required any server configuration, nothing. Simple text pad only we can use to write HTML code, but it has to be executed in the browser. Okay, so after that example of HTML program I already showed you earlier, so I'm not going. Next, HTML styles means how you can give styles means, I given style is one attribute you can give inline styling. Okay, so by using style keyword for the HTML elements we can give the styling. Normally what is the HTML layout? Layout mean the sense, we have given some screenshot here. Yeah, this is about layout. When you talk about HTML layout, this is the basic structure of any. Normally, if you take any HTML page, this is the basic structure of your HTML page, right? So,
Okay.
and I'm again shifting when you're talking about layouts, right? I'm going to shift now HTML for some topic called semantic tags. Okay, so what is semantic tags means? Earlier, when you define your page like header, you want to define everything, we use a div tags. Okay, but
Yeah.
semantic tags means meaningful name of the tags, means browser itself understand what this tag is doing. And also search engine also friendly when you use some kind of semantic tags, for example footer tag, header tag, and section tag. Okay, article tag, like that SI tag. These are the tags like meaningful name of the, it's kind of div tag only, but it is giving some meaningful definition about that content. Okay, so that semantic tags will be introduced in HTML5. So earlier normal code we are writing, there is a div, we give id or class equal to header and you will give some CSS. Okay, so actually this is useful for understanding the developer and the browser. So both cases means meaningful name we are giving for the tags. So that is the purpose of semantic tags. Okay, uh, and there is a article and section also there. What is the difference between article and section means? One article can contain multiple sections. Okay, for example sports article is there. In the sports article we have different kind of sections, for example about the cricket and about football. So there are different sections, right? So like that one article can have multiple sections. Okay, aside means suppose you want to write some side paragraph, you see some newspapers will keep paragraph kind of different topics. So again, aside inside we can put it article and section also. Okay, normally meaningful about header and footer, you understand what is the purpose of header and footer. Okay, like that nav tag also there is a nav tag that is called so navigation bar, means if you want to show some menu kind of things we will use nav tag. So these are called actually semantic tags. Okay,
Yeah.
after that, yeah, I'm coming back to, okay, then where we went to the topic, right? So again, layout means whatever I given simple layout about HTML. Then HTML table. Okay, table means, you know, right? Table contains normally basic tags, table tag, and inside
Yeah.
table tag we have t head. T head means it contains a header. So there you will write tr, and th means, th means suppose you want to add some columns for the headers. So for that we will use th. Okay, for that I will show you, instead of talking I can just here I will mention. If you know that one, it's fine. You know table syntax, how to write table.
Yeah.
Okay, then it's fine. But anyway, we are recording session. Who don't know, it will be useful for them.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to see table means tab. So this is the tag table, and the basic tag is this one. And also it's not mandatory to you have to use t head tag, but in syntax wise, if you want to keep it, if you don't add also, automatically browser will add t head tag. Okay, after that t body. Without t head and t body also you can directly add rows and columns. Okay, but main thing is here you want to show some header, means tr. Tr means one row slash tr. Okay, so inside rows we have columns. To represent columns normally td, but header will use th. Okay, means it will come whatever name you give inside that, it will come with some bold text, th slash th. Okay, for example I given serial number, and one more is name. Okay, better always keep alignment, or else in further if you seeing your code you don't understand what you're writing. So better to maintain always some tabbing and spacing in your code, means you understand which is parent, which is child. Always follow some formatting your code.
So how to know about the formatting stuff? Is there any standard for that?
Yeah, see here, suppose table inside child is t head, right? So
Oh,
you
yeah.
have to maintain one tabbing here. After t
Okay.
head we have tr is one child for t. So these both are siblings. This tr, see this, for example, sorry, here I'm not given group tab. Okay, so here one more tab. Th, these two ths are siblings. So I will put it both are parallel. Okay. So after that I will copy, I will show you. It's not like any standard, but you will understand while writing this one. If you see this code, it is clearly you understand there are two rows, each row having two headers, right? Or else if you keep beside like clumsy, you will confuse more. So for readability purpose, actually, we'll follow this.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, for example, okay, I have only one header. I don't want to use this one here. Only two columns with one row header. Normally header is only one row only, right? Normally. Okay, t body. Inside here I can have multiple rows. Okay, here I have
Okay.
to use, instead of th I have to use td. Td means column.
Okay.
Okay, you should follow this tabbing here. Actually, in Angular and all, we have some tools for this spacing and tabbing also. Automatically,
Hmm.
you can format your code. Okay, control there is shortcuts in editors like Sublime and Visual Studio. We have some kind of predefined commands to format your code. Okay, but sometimes you should manually you have to do. Okay, for example, the value of first row is 101. Name is Saurabh. TRs I'm putting parallelly because these are siblings. One zero three. Okay. Suppose if I save this HTML, okay, without any HTML tags, if I save as it is in a table.html, even this will work. How it is browser. Now latest browsers are very intelligent. They will add
Yeah.
all those things. But you should be follow the standards, even though it will execute. It's not
Yeah.
the suggestible to do that thing. Okay, but for testing purpose, I will save it at present now. Okay, now we'll execute this one table.html. Open with Chrome. Okay, it's came right table. But if we have some properties, suppose you want to show border and all. Okay, so table having some property called border. You know that?
Yeah.
Okay, border equal to, this is actually table itself having properties, not CSS property. It is kind of attribute we can say. Okay, table tag having some property called border equal to 1. If I give this one, it will show some border. Okay, and we have call span and row spans are there. For example, you want to show two rows together inside one row. Okay, then we have some row span. Okay, suppose columns means call span. Suppose two rows together we want to combine, then we have to use row span. So these are the different scenarios. Sometimes you want to show in real time, you will get that kind of scenarios. Okay, that time we have to use call span and row span. You know that call span and row span? Hello?
Yeah, Krishna, you can tell me about that.
Yeah.
I
So, for example, here I want to show only one TD. Okay. It should be call span. There is a property called call span. It is the property for TD. Okay. Call span
okay.
equal to, if I give 2, means it will occupy two columns. Top there are two columns, right? This
Yeah.
TD will cover two columns width. Okay. So we'll see
Okay.
output how it is coming. See?
Yeah.
Okay. And suppose I want to display that 101 at the center. Okay, in that column. So there is a
Yeah.
property called text align center. Okay, you can use that one. That is actually styling. If you want to make it that one, we have to give style. This is called inline style. Text align, text text hyphen align center, cntr. When you refresh your code, see 101 came at the center.
Yeah.
Okay, so for
Okay.
example, now I want to make it as a row span. Okay, we'll see when you give row span 2 for tr, what will happen, we'll see. we given for. Okay, normally it is in rare condition. For example, call span is occupying horizontally, right? Row span
Yeah.
will occupy vertically. Okay, so vertically it will occupy three rows spaces together into one row. So, but in real time, mostly we'll use call span only. Okay, so that is the difference between call span and row span. Okay, and apart from this, suppose you should not show these borders and all, right? So for that
Yeah.
also we have property border none. If you give, it will not show the border. Okay, there is a CSS property border none, and all these borders we don't want to show. And also we, okay, I'm not going to explain those things because we have
Yeah.
separate concept like padding and all. Okay,
Yeah.
I will going to explain in that case what is about padding, call span, those things. Okay, so at
Yeah.
present, just I want to introduce basic HTML of table and what are the basic things it will follow. Okay, if you see inspect this table, right, you see the structure of this table. See, head tag we didn't add, body tag we didn't add, but browser is adding
Yeah.
things, right? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, this is a structure about table. Then next topic, because this is like basics only, but if you don't know these things, it is difficult. Okay,
Yeah.
next HTML forms and input types and attributes. Okay, so when you talk about forms, right, we have form tag. Earlier we have explained about some form tag attributes like action and method. Okay, you remember, right?
Yeah.
We have used.
Yeah.
Apart from that, input types we have in earlier yesterday's class we cleared so many input types like button input type text
Yeah.
input type password. But apart from that, one more thing is there, input type hidden. Have you know about
Okay.
what is hidden input type? What is the purpose?
No.
Okay.
No, the password and hidden is same or it's
No,
different?
password is just it will show dot dot like password. When you use some password, we'll use
Yeah.
that one. But hidden is used for it is like storing some ID kind of thing. For example,
Okay.
in backend in database, everything stored in the form of one ID they will represent. For example, user creation, you register, right?
Yeah.
In database, they
Yeah.
will use some primary key kind of thing. Primary key means unique representation of your data. So that
Yeah.
I suppose you are doing some update operation. For example, you logged in, you're updating your mobile number or something. Okay,
Yeah.
they have to update this data based on some primary key, right? Based on some ID. So while
Yeah.
retrieving your data, they will send in backend data with some ID also, but that ID will not be useful for the end user. For example, you are seeing your Facebook profile, you don't know internally how it is stored, what IDs, what primary keys are using and all. It is not end user don't want. It is a case of implementation in the programmatically internally it will use. So ID they don't want to show to the end user. So that's why what they will do, they will use one input type equal to hidden, and they will store that is some ID. But when you're submitting form, right, that ID also will be submitted into backend. Means suppose you are updating some phone number or email address, when you clicking on update, that time along with this data, that ID also will be submitted. So then they will get to know, okay, this particular ID user is updating this particular information. So they will update that particular data based on that ID. So for updating purpose, and it is like internally to manage the data, that IDs will be useful. Okay, so in that situations we have to use input type hidden. And also suppose you want to store some session kind of data, suppose you are storing some data you want to store somewhere, you can use this input type hidden to store some values, but it should not be shown to end user because it will not be visible. I will show that example here. For example, okay, here only I'm doing after table. Okay, I will use input type, or else yesterday example we have, right, we do it there itself. So address and all. I have sent yesterday email. Have you executed that file? It is executed properly.
Actually, Krishna, I didn't get time to go through that one,
Okay, which one?
but I will do it. The one you sent it yesterday, but I will do it today. I am free whole day today.
Okay,
So
actually, in that I rename it to text file, this JS file. Have you seen that
yeah,
email? Because in JavaScript file we can't send directly in even
yeah,
UL
yeah. I know.
zip, right? So I
Yeah.
rename it to text dot text and have sent. You just rename it to save it as, not only rename. You have to save as a JS file. Okay.
Okay.
So okay, here I'm going to add one more input type called input type equal to, okay, hidden. If I give hidden,
Yeah.
okay, it won't be visible, but we'll inspect element and we'll see. Value equal to, for example, I have some ID for example, for authentication, some code I'm using for when
Yeah.
you submit form. If that form contains some ID only, I will validate or something like that. Okay. For example, I have some secret code kind of thing. Okay. Some
Yeah.
678902, something like some code. Let it be. Okay. I'll store that one and I will give some name for this. Name equal to secret ID or something. So when you see this one, if you execute this file, we have this first.html where it is. So yesterday demo app, where is the demo app? Yes, yeah. Is it that file updated? Or else other file I have updated? Yeah, this one only. So we can open this file now. We'll see it won't be visible actually, but I will show inspect element how the
Yeah.
data is coming and all. Okay. So yesterday I modified like this. Okay,
Yeah.
when I click save, actually, there's some error. What is this error? So JavaScript is not loading. Okay, yesterday I have renamed the file name, right? That's why. Okay, file save as. Okay, now that error gone. Okay, so when I click save, okay, yesterday actually this invalid input is not coming. You remember when we were trying? Why?
Yeah.
Because I given wrong ID here. Okay, because when you're doing here, I have to use error here ID, but I
Okay.
given username ID. That's why yesterday this
Yeah.
it's not working.
Okay.
Okay, but after I look into that, I got to know here I given wrong ID. We have to use error user because this is the that error message ID, whatever error
Okay.
message was. Okay, now here see that hidden element is not visible, but we can see through inspect element. When you inspect this code, right, in HTML, we can see that one inside here. See input type hidden,
Yeah.
it is there, but it's not visible to the user. But I want to submit this value when you submit your form. Okay, so user, see here secret ID also went in the form.
Yeah.
Have you seen?
Yes.
Okay, so in that scenario, because I am updating some user information, Because it is suppose in update case this a user is already created. So for that user we have already some id generated in backend. So that id, while retrieving your data, this id also will get it, right? So that id, when you're updating by using this id, I want to update this user information. So that's why we need to keep these ids inside internally in the hidden fields or something like that. Okay, in that
Okay.
scenarios mostly they will use hidden forms. Okay, so that is
Yeah.
a one kind we can say. One is like whichever IDs internal data you want to keep, you can use hidden. Okay. Normally, sometimes they will use cookies, or sometimes they will use session. Or else we have in HTML5 there are a concept called session storage and local storage. Okay, those are very important concepts, but I don't want to tell today because let it be
Yeah.
they also come. But just remember to storage in the browser, to store some data we can use hidden field also. Apart from that
Yes.
we have session storage and local storage. Okay, I'm going to explain in further class what is session storage, what is local storage. Okay, so today's class mostly I'm focusing on just basic things. Okay, not much complex because anyway I need to repeat the class, right? So that's why just
Yeah.
I'm going. Okay, after that if you see there is input types, you have seen hidden I told. And we have select drop down, that is one kind of input type. And radio button and check boxes and text box. Okay, these are the different basic input types. Okay, and also we have some attributes like disable. There is a disabled option. Have you know that one? Disabled is an attribute. And checked.
No.
Okay, I will show you that code itself here now. Okay, if you see this one, I will make it as this hidden as, for example, sometimes some IDs should be visible but it's not be editable. So
Yeah.
how to do that one? Input type equal to text. Okay, but it can't be editable. Okay, for that we have attribute called, that these are called attributes. Okay,
Yeah.
disabled. Okay, if you give disabled attribute for text box, you will not be able to edit that one. Okay, we'll refresh file, go back and refresh. See this text box,
Yeah.
you're not able to editable. Okay, this is one. Suppose sometimes in a HTML there is a default we need to selected like checked. For example, by default I want to make it this is defaultly checked. Okay, means
Yeah.
for that what we can do it, there is a attribute for checkbox is called checked option. Okay, where it is there? Okay, here I will put it. There is a che checked option. Okay, so these are called attributes, we'll call it as an attributes. Okay, see it is by default it's checked, but I can remove that. But if you load your page starting itself, it is without we are clicking action, by default it is checked. Okay,
Yeah.
like that we can give for radio button also. For radio button also, I think if you make it as a checked only will work for. I will try. I thought
Okay.
checked can be useful for only radio button, I'm thinking. Not, we'll see. Yeah, checked is useful for radio button also. Okay, so by default suppose
Yeah.
gender should be like male should be enabled or something, we need to have sometime requirements will be like that, you should be enabled by default this radio button
Yeah.
or something like that. Okay, so that time you can use this. These attributes can be dynamically, you can remove also. For example, something you clicked, you want to enable that one, I have to remove. So through jQuery and JavaScript we can remove these attributes. Okay,
Yeah.
dynamically we can, by using some id or name, we can remove. There is a in jQuery actually remove attr one option is there. By using remove attr option, whichever attribute you want to remove, you can give the name of that one, it will remove that attribute. Okay, so these are like not only checked and disabled, we have so many of attributes, but I'm giving some examples of attributes. What is meaning of attributes means it will give some behavior to our HTML tags. Okay, so each HTML tags have different attributes. For example, there is a attribute for placeholder. Have you heard about placeholder?
Yeah.
Right? So for example, if you want to show some default text inside username, place holder. Okay, this is actually, we can say, it is kind of one property. There is a difference between property and attribute, but some scenarios we can say attributes and properties also, it's kind of similarity will be there, but there is a thin separation will be there. Okay, so actually properties having some values, but attributes giving the behavior. That is the difference. Okay, so placeholder equal to, suppose if I give username, or else please enter username, something if you want to show. So when you clicking on text box, that text will be disappear. Okay, that is called placeholder.
Okay.
We'll see here if you refresh. See here it's showing please enter username. When I cursor clicking on here, okay, when I type something, it went off. So that is called placeholder. This is also one kind of property for text box. Okay. After that, so I told placeholder and checked and disabled and input type hidden. Okay, anything, I'm just trying to recall in real time. I'm always trying to teach you guys in real time scenarios what we'll use.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
better to
yes,
understand in that way.
yes, because I'm not going to theoretically just whatever line by line
Yeah, yeah.
explanation. Okay, okay, so this is what will happen. Okay, so we'll go for next. What are things are there? Yeah, that is about input types and attributes. In further, when you're doing some project, right, that time we'll get to know different attributes also. We'll see that one. After that, HTML events actually. When you're talking about events, right, we have a number of events for each HTML thing. For example, if you take for button, right, on click event. Okay, and also we have for drop down, we have on change event. For drop down, on change means, right, we have implemented earlier when you change something,
Yeah,
country drop down, we are firing one query and ajax call, and we are changing the state drop
yeah.
down, so by calling the on change. So for drop down we have the option called on change event. Okay, so like that, based on HTML element they have different kind of on change. Okay, on change equal to, we want to call some function, some test function. Okay, if you write like this, it will ask test function is not defined, it will give error. Okay, on change is one event for drop down. Like that, we have mouse over, mouse out, double click, others key up, key down. For text box, when you're typing something, right, we have different events
Yeah,
like key down and key up. Okay, key press. Like that, we have a number of events for text box also. Also, and we have for checkbox and radio buttons also. Okay, for this also actually we have on change event. For radio button and checkbox also we have on change event we can write. Okay, when you're click checked something, you have to do some validations or something, means based on it is checked, you have to do some calculations, we have to update some data. So for that also we can write one on change event for radio button and checkboxes also. Apart from that, what are things there? Text box on change you can write, and on click. Yeah, these are the different events. If you see, right, in real time scenarios you understand, but basic mostly commonly used events are on click and on change. These are the very basic events we'll use. Apart from that, for example, if you're writing some autocomplete, autocomplete, right? Autocomplete means in Google
yeah,
search box we are
yeah.
typing some letters, while you're typing
They will
itself,
guess.
need some suggestions. This is how we
Yeah,
happening by calling some events like
yeah,
on key up, on key down. Those events when you're
yeah,
calling, right, we'll call some ajax call backend. So ajax will trigger, and whatever string you typed, right, that string is taking as input, and it is trying to fetch from different, in Google they will connect to different databases and so many things. In our case actually, we can implement that autocomplete by fetching some data from the backend stuff. Okay, so in further classes we'll do that one autocomplete, how we can implement by using
yeah.
this event like key down and key up, because it is very in real time we'll use very commonly key up key down events, and we can fetch the data and we can show that one table or something. Okay, so that is about events, but I will go in detail in later. but just I'm giving the basic in real time what are the events we'll use. Okay, that common events are I'm saying right on click and on change. After that, so yeah, again I'm coming back to HTML5 actually. In HTML5 actually we have mostly important things are like predefined form inputs. For example, input types date, time, and email, and we have some regular expression and required. Okay, required also kind of attribute. Suppose you don't want to, you are not right, means it will reduce your JavaScript code right to validate. Some predefined validators will be available like email validation. Okay, and also some
Yeah.
format URL validation. Suppose input type URL if you given, it's trying to validate your URL format. Okay, like that predefined date format, currency format. These are n number of things are there, but mostly commonly we'll use very basic things like email and date and what you call URL. These are the things. Okay, and we have some regular expressions also. Reg means it will validate some format if you want to customize the format. So that also you can give pattern. There is a pattern attribute property. There you can
Yeah.
define your some regular expression. What is regular expression? You can define some kind of format. For example, mobile number for US means it should start from with some number. Okay, for India means +91 it should start. Okay, like that and also Indian telephone number should be length of digits 10 digits. So that format you can define by using regular expressions. So regular expression actually is one concept. I'm going to explain that is later. So those kind of pattern, one keyword is there. By using that also you can validate your form. So HTML5 introduced actually to reduce your JavaScript code. Okay, for developer to easily to handle these kind of validations and all. Okay, and apart from that there is a video tag, audio tag, and YouTube tags will be there. Okay, so those are like to load some embedded content, external URLs. If you want to add, we can use these tags. Okay, and most
Yeah.
important for animation side, if you want to create some logos and all, we can use SVG tags. Okay, actually SVG means scalar vector graph. It is completely based on some XML. Okay, so it is defined based on XML, and there is a angles, some it is based on that. But compare with canvas tag, SVG is like more what do you say, in old browsers also it will be supportable. Means for larger screens and all, SVG will support very nicely. Okay, the rendering
Okay.
capability compared with canvas tag, SVG tag is very good. Okay, so most of the logos people will define by using SVG logos, but canvas tag is good in for any kind of animations. For example, if you are trying to do some charts, widgets and all, they will use canvas tags. Okay, canvas tag is mostly used for some kind of animations. It will be good. So both are having their own specific advantage and disadvantage also. But which place it is good, we have to use that one. For logos, better to use SVGs. For kind of charts and widgets, we have to use canvas tags. Okay, after that I mentioned it earlier, we have some web storage like local storage and session storage. Okay, that I will give programmatically in tomorrow's class. Okay,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, and after that style guide in the sense actually, so we have to follow some styling for each HTML tags. Normally you should you have to follow small what you call small letters. Okay, don't use one is capital when you open one tag in small letters, and don't close tag in capital letters. Okay, and
Okay.
also you should be use some meta tags. Okay, and when you are doing some what is the purpose of meta tag means, it will be identified by your search engine. When your Google search engine optimization, meta tag will define your application, what kind of application and all. Okay, there is a care set you have to define like UTF-8 encoding and styling and all. So and apart from that we have some kind of SHV, and if you want to support your HTML file to all browsers, we have some predefined what you call hack kind of thing. It is like boilerplate code they will call it is. So when you include that one, it's trying to minimize your HTML page will be supported in all kind of browsers. So you don't need to write any code, but there is a IE supported kind of SHV version. If you search for IE supported SHV boilerplate code, you will get some link. So if you include that one in your header, if you are some users trying to open in old versions IE7 and IE8, it's trying to minimize your CSS and HTML code, whichever will not supported, it will try to avoid breaking your HTML page. Okay, so I will show that
Okay.
example also how we have to include that one. Okay, after that, yeah, so these are things actually come into the picture. Apart from that, I'm going to show you just syllabus, what things I'm going to explain you. Okay, just give me 1 minute.
Okay.
Okay, see in CSS, right, yesterday I explained you like inline style and external
Yeah.
style and embedded style and box model. So box model, I have one figure here. I will show you that one. See, this is actually when you talk about box model, your content can be like any text or image, anything. Okay, so basically your content will be like this. When you're talking about content padding, means it is inside your border. What is the space between border and content is called padding. Okay, suppose when you're giving some width for your content, so it will be actual width is rendering including your padding. For example, you given some 200 pixel for your content. Okay, already you
Yeah.
have some 50 pixel padding or something, so total width it will be rendered as 200 plus 50 250 pixels. Okay,
Okay.
it will take that way width. Okay, width and height will be considered including padding. Okay, so margin actually it is a space between adjacent element. For example, you have two divs together, suppose one div and another div, so between the divs actually it's we call it as a margin. Okay, between the elements some border after layout it is called margin. Okay, between margin and padding spacing it is called border mostly we'll use for represent some kind of coloring and all. If you want to give, right, we'll use border
Yeah.
only. Okay, so there is for each one having four properties like padding right and top bottom like that. Okay, so for each property we have four corners like top bottom right and left, like margin right margin left margin top margin bottom. Okay, so
Yeah.
if you see in our code, you most frequently will see this repeatedly. Okay, so this is about just box model. After that you have to know about JavaScript variables, data types, objects. So these are a number of things, but I'm not going to write theoretically. I don't explain one by one. While you are doing programming itself, it will cover all those things. Okay, so in that practical way I will going to explain. I don't want to line by line reading and all. Okay, so but I'm just highlighting these are things are there, but we need to, while doing our programming, this concept indirectly will be covered. Okay, that is about JavaScript related. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, actually just disconnected. I'm trying to connect again.
Yeah. Yeah. Take your time.
Yeah. Okay, so actually this JS concepts, right, this JS concepts actually I want to cover in practical way. Okay, you're able to see my screen, right? Hello.
Yeah, I can see your
Yeah.
screen.
Okay. So actually, when you are working on TypeScript or Angular, we should know very good in basic of objects and arrays and strings. If you know that data types, JavaScript data types, and what you
Yeah.
call objects and arrays, very good. Then you can able to easily work on ES6.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why I will little bit give some examples. We will work on
Yeah.
JavaScript. Okay, so after that this is the actually I'm not going to explain in Angular. Later we have to cover these all things because we have a number
Okay.
of things. But bonus, I'm going to do with you guys these things. These are actually interesting because these are in real time. Actually, it will be very useful when you're doing some applications. These case studies, I can say these are like case studies. Okay, one is like gallery application. It will give you understanding about display properties when you do some represent some gallery some. So how to use display property it will give, and how to apply CSS and how to apply images. So those kind of things we'll understand. And shopping cart kind of application, it will give some complete idea about some project in Angular routing and all. So and basic registration form, like whatever we are looking now, right? That is registration form. After that, one more application I'm trying to do, inventory management application. Okay, before that, we are going to use some data grid implementation by using jQuery, and also I will show you by using Angular. Okay, both I will show. And apart from that, Bootstrap CSS. Anyway, we'll use Bootstrap CSS in all our projects. And then PrimeNG case studies, means in PrimeNG we have different components. What is PrimeNG means? Actually, it is Angular based Bootstrap kind of thing. It will give some ready-made components like drop downs and some
Yeah.
tables and some data grids and some file upload functionalities. So you no need to concentrate much complex code. It will give you ready-made code. They will give some kind of documentation how to use, how to you can customize. So those things actually very useful in real time also. So this will be normally people use most frequently. Okay, so these are about actually my overall planning about our code in Angular with UI. So later, once it is done, we go for how to integrate with Java services and API and all. Okay,
Okay.
so that's what my planning. So tomorrow, if everybody comes, we'll try to make it very quick. Okay,
Okay. So I have a question, Krishna.
yeah.
Like for UI also, we need to have a very good understanding of Java.
Not required, but normally nowadays what is happening, they're
Yeah.
looking for who is having Java with Angular. Means you are good in UI, but if you know Java, they will
Yeah.
consider very quickly your profile. Why? Because
Okay.
TypeScript and all, it's related to Java kind of syntax. Okay,
So
like
I
object
need to
oriented.
work more on Java too. Like.
So not required much. Once you started learning TypeScript directly, also fine. But if you know little bit Java, because for me, my background is actually when I'm fresher, I started working on Java only. Like
Yeah.
initial stage, I learned Java. But Java will give you the opportunity to understand any kind of programming. That's why people,
Okay.
if you know Java, you are able to work on any programming. They will say like that. So that's
Okay.
why, because now TypeScript and JavaScript, everything is trying to mimic the Java kind of programming. Even
Yeah.
PHP programming also, they mimic the Java kind of functionality, like
Yeah.
Python. So everything is coming as a Java kind of programming paradigm. Okay, so for
Yeah.
that Java, if you want to know, I will tell you, because even I'm not expert in much expert level. I'm
Yeah.
actually how much we have to know, that much I know in Java. Like I can say above average, okay, and not
Okay.
expert level. But I can help you through interviews what things they will ask. You should. There is a one basic difference. Java with UI profile is different. UI with Java profile is different. Okay,
Okay.
so you
Yeah.
should understand that. Okay, so if you
Yeah.
want to go through as a UI with Java, I can help you. But if you want Java with UI, means you should be like Java expert. Then you know. So when you're getting
No.
calls, you should mention
Yeah.
I'm very expert in UI, like 72. Even I explain like that when I got calls. I'm expert in UI. I can say most highlighting in UI, but I know the Java.
Okay.
I can able to work on Java, but not expert level. So 30 to 40% I can work on Java, and 70% I can work on UI. So you are able to do that one, because I have
Okay.
worked in Spring MVC, REST API, web services, and all. And
Yeah.
for that, normally some basic concept in Java. In Java, what are things required is you should understand object-oriented concepts in Java, like abstract, inheritance, polymorphism,
Yeah.
okay, encapsulation. These four things you should understand. Apart from that, what is abstract class and what is interface, what is final keyword, and
Yeah.
exception handling, like try catch blocks, finally
Yeah.
blocks, and all. Apart after that, we have one more concept called collections. This is very important because collections is used for handling the data. Okay, so when you
Okay.
go for Java with UI also, they will ask for Java related questions mostly from collections. Okay,
Yeah.
and they will ask little bit on object oriented concepts. Then strings, there is a strings also in Java
Yeah.
string API. So these are the basic things you have to know. Apart from that, they will ask if you know Java 8. Okay, In Java 8 actually we have some concept like lambda functions. Why? Because I'm highlighting here lambda function. Lambda function is used in our TypeScript also. It's kind of arrow function we'll call. Okay, it is like
Yeah.
normal function only, just minimizing the syntax of function. Okay. After that we have functional interface and streaming API. Streaming API means suppose you are doing a set of operations. Okay, so one data you want to apply so many operations. It's kind of one sequence you want to apply. We can use stream API. Okay, I will explain you when you want to Java side. We're going to
Okay.
explain. Okay, at least you are in the certain level. There is interview skills to satisfy interviewer in Java. So those skills I can help you in interview perspective. For about Java I'm talking. Okay, uh,
Yeah.
for, for UI means I can explain in all the prospectus, interview way and practical way, and in your job, whatever. But in Java
Okay.
level, I can certain level I can help you. Okay, means you can qualify your interview and you can make it. Okay,
Okay.
so no, don't worry. Just confidence is required. There is interview skills, but sometimes you need to require once you joined, you have to sustain it. That time you should know the concepts also. Okay.
Yeah.
See you then. I'm stopping the class here. Okay. Tomorrow we will go for in-depth details, whatever I mentioned today. And today I thought to explain about DOM also, but okay, because this is very basic and important
Okay.
topic also.
We'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. Tomorrow we'll do it. Okay.
Thank you,
Uh,
Prashna. Have a
yeah.
good
Sure.
night.
Okay.